Hey class, today I will be going over lab 4 and how to help you guys get started on how to do functions in PHP, as well as doing loops and doing some file processing. So with that said, let's just get started. So what are my expectations of lab 4? Well, the interface is going to be very simple. It's going to be first a file upload, and secondly you can submit the data via text, right? So so there's two criteria. Both of these have to work. So the very first one, now this is just a simple file upload, and here's my JSON file that I want you to upload. So as you can see, this file looks just like this. It's a simple JSON formatted string, okay? String file, okay? Alright, so with that said, when you select this and you click upload file, this is the result you should get. What happens is that your file should be processed using either for loops. Here I have two solutions. One is a recursive and one is a non-recursive. So as you notice, with the non-recursive, I can customize the colors because of the because the recursion is actually just setting one color, but this, on the other hand, is setting multiple different colors. But the problem is that it doesn't actually get all of the leaf nodes within the JSON string, right? So the recursive solution is actually more robust and covers a great more depth when it comes to a JSON file. Now, with that said, I want you to display the raw data that you read out as well, okay? Right, so that's all you really have to do for this lab. Now, with all that said, we can jump right into the code, okay? Okay, so here I have my demo project opened up, right? And I'm going to go to lab 4 here, okay? This is the index page of lab 4, and I'm going to start coding right here. I'll close everything out so that it's not confusing. Right, so with lab 4, all we really need to do here is create a form, okay? So in order to create our form, it should be relatively simple, right? The form itself is just a simple HTML form, so you go form. Now, the action method here should just be to myself. So I could just say leave it blank, or if you want to be specific, you know, index.php, which is the same file that we're on right now, right? So it's just going to post to itself. And then you go method equals post. Now, I'm going to show you how to do the how to actually do file processing first. So we'll start with that. And then you go encryption type. Now to actually upload a file, you need to have the encryption type of multi-part form data. This should actually be auto-resolved by your Visual Studio installation, Visual Studio Code. Okay. Again, that's IntelliSense, and it works because of that. Okay. So the next part would be to say, hey, I want a file to upload. So I go select. No, it wouldn't be this. We just want to say. Div, right? And in this div, we're going to say style equals make a pretty low color. Solid equals border solid 1 pix silver border. Actually, let's not do that. Let's give it a class. Now, if you haven't, if you went through my Emmet tutorial, well, not the Emmet tutorial, but the Emmet video that I showed you guys, this is a class equals color table, and doing. That's right. Now, if you went through my you went through the Emmet tutorial on my site, my YouTube playlist, you'll learn that in Emmet to basically declare a div with a class, you just go so s. You can go to you can just say table, right? Just something like that, right? And it'll give you a class data table, right? Or in this case, I actually want a class that's called wrapper. Okay. And then and right, you just go something like that, and then go to the I don't want to do that. Go so we don't really want a table. Oh, we can use the table. We want a TR, not TH. We really want to do that, right? We just want to go and instead table. God, what am I doing? Okay, let's cut it at this point. Alright, so now we create a class wrapper. Alright, so a form and a class wrapper. Inside that form, we just want to do an input. And we just want a file. So this, with Emmet, it'll fill all this out for you, right? So we want to call it JSON file, right? And you want the ID to be JSON file as well, right? So, and then just go class equals btn primary. Again, you'll go input, type, input submit. Oops. Input submit name equals upload JSON file, right? And then you'll name it. Oh, there's a reason why we want to have a name here, okay? And that so that we can tell what PHP wants to has to do when we process it, okay? And then again, we want a class. I just want a class equals button btn default. All right. So save that, and then we can actually go out to our site and browse it. So here we can go localhost demo. Misspelled that. We need to set this to true, right? Remember in the last lab, I told you guys to set this to true. Oh boy. Demo includes header, menu, Oh, because I have to adjust the header to local equals true here as well. And then that should actually do it. Jeez. What am I doing around here? Again, go to this one, F12. Okay. Index.php. Right, so now we have a file upload button here, right? Oh, that doesn't look right. So go back into the code here again. Okay. Try that again. Alright, so I can pretty much go in and choose my sample file, and boom, upload. So for right now, the code isn't really doing anything. you're just basically uploading a file. All right, and then you do an upload, and that's all it does. All right. So the next step is to really add in some logic to read that file. Right. So let's go here, and then just say, how do I read the file in? Well, we know that the form is submitting it to itself, right? So we can say, and say, hey, if the form is set, if the post variable for the form is set, so remember that the post variable is what is actually being submitted to the server, right? So here we have a here we're looking for this. Let me see. Okay, so here we are actually looking for this file name here, right? So if because the name of this form is actually file of the submit button is actually file. So we want to check to see if that is set. So if this post is file, right? If that's true, then we can say, hey, if that's true, then we can enter into our loop, right? To find the file contents. Now, that's easier said than done, of course, right? Because we have to find exactly how to do that. So we can just say, well, first of all, we have to have a target directory. So so you can upload it directly to Lab4, right? So it will be in within that. When you do a file upload, it'll actually just upload it directly to the root here. So what you actually want to do is you just want to do a new folder here, right? And we call it uploads. Okay. So now that we have that uploads folder, we can just say, hey, and say, hey, uploads, right? So let's call it uploads. Call it uploads. So I think we need to have an end string there. And then we just say, hey, since we're going to upload it to upload file, what's the name of our file? Our file name is JSON file. So we will say so in this, so what are we going to do? Because now keep in mind that when you actually do a post of a file, what PHP does is it stores it within the file variable, right? And the file array, the global file array. So what this global array is store files, right? Just like that. And our file name would be this, which is of course, which is this JSON file name, right? It's the file name that we grabbed from the interface, okay? And then that's the file name, so we just call that file name. We'll assign that to a file Now this is the array that accesses the file, right? But we actually want to say, hey, and the file name itself is actually a variable called name within that associative array. Okay, so here we grab the file name, okay, and then we want to find the file type, right? So we want to make sure that this is a JSON file. So let's grab the extension of this file, right? Go path info, right? Before we do that, though, I actually want to do this. So we'll set the target. Target equals, you want to add the directory? You want to append the directory to this file name. And then here you want to find the path of the target. And you also, so this path info extracts the, here, I'll go to PHP site, okay. So path info here, right, takes a path and then basically finds either the extension, the base name, the directory, or the path info file name, right? So here we're just trying to find the extension so that we know what type of file it is. So here, since the path, in this example, this is the path that's being passed in, right? So the extension that we're expecting would be like PHP in this case, right? So if we look for the extension here, then it would be PHP. In the same way, we want to do that in our code. So here, we should go target, and then we go we want to do the extension, right? Now, it's a good idea to convert this to a lower type, so that a lowercase type, so that we can do an exact comparison, right? So, if you want to do a string str to lower case and wrap that around that. So this will convert this file type to a lowercase file type. Now, we don't really want that big of a file, so we can say if the, oh, I have a caps on. Fine. If is greater than 5,000. Let's limit it to 50 megabytes. Or 500 kilobytes. Because that's pretty big. Now you'll basically flood the memory if you're reading too large of a file, right? So 500 sounds about right. We can actually make it 5 megabytes, but that I mean 5 megabytes is huge, so I guess that'll work. So you can go echo Sorry, the file is too large, right? This is saying that before we do any of this, let's just set a boolean up here. We'll set that to true. Okay. If echo file is too large, then we'll set it to false, right? This is used so that we can actually track it later. Okay. Here we go. Here we're saying that it's false, right? So in this case, we're gonna say. And then we're also going to test for the file if the file type itself not equal to JSON, then we're going to throw an error because we're expecting the file type of JSON. You can do this with images and stuff like that too, right? So upload. Again, this is false again. Always keep in mind that it's a double equal and not a single equal, because if you do set the equal to a single equal, then you'll assign that property, right? Now we want to have an else case too, right? So now here in the failure case, we're going to say we can't do anything, so we'll say right, we'll just do that, and then in the case that it does succeed, so we're going to say otherwise, because it's a valid file type, we're going to move the file, move up the file to files, again it would be the same thing as this. Oh, that's right. And then because when you upload a file, PHP actually stores it as a temporary name. And then moves it to our target directory. Okay, so we'll do that, and then we'll say echo Okay, so we're done with that. Yeah, we're just gonna say those are uploading your file. Alright. So this should process the file. And the file name now is in the target directory, right? So once we put it into the target directory, what are we gonna do? We're gonna get the contents of it, right? So we're gonna say data equals file get contents. Target, okay. So what we want to do is want to decode it, alright? So we want to decode that data by using the JSON decode method in PHP. Now, let me show you that real quick. You can go JSON decode. So because our file format is a JSON format, we actually want to decode this into an object. So and we want to decode that into an associative degree, okay? Into an associative array. So we want to set the association here to true. So basically, what we'll need is a JSON decode, and then the JSON string, and then the associative file. So what this means is that our file get contents reads the entirety of the file. So we're expecting an array in that, right? So goes JSON decode. Now I could make you guys do this part yourself, figure out the algorithm for it, but that's just very complicated. Okay, and in doing that, it will basically take a lot of time away from you guys. So, because the second part of this process, well, this lab is going to be tough enough already. So after we're done with that, we can echo out the array, right? We can say, hey, what I want to do, I want to loop through and print it out. So, how do I do that? So I want to make sure that this is an array. So, but before we do that, we're going to say result equals, I'm going to print out a table. This is going to be like this, but I don't do the end tag yet. I just want the front tag of this, right? So this is going to create a table, well, at least a table in the first part of the table, and we're going to eventually build this table by looping through our array, okay? So here we're just going to go, first we're going to test to make sure that if is array Right? If this is a data array, then we can continue. Right? Else, let's say echo valid format, right? Right, now we can say, hey, let's put this here. We'll only do this if it actually is an array, okay? Otherwise, and then we go, hey, equals. Here we're going to say this is the end of the table, right? So everything we're going to be doing is going to be between these two tags to process the results of the array. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to say, hey, for each of the items in the data array, right, we're going to say, data array, right, as key. Now this is the standard notation to for each, okay? If so basically this is saying that for each key, find its value in the array, okay? And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna print out result, right? That equals. Now this will be the first level. Okay, tr td. Right. Let's call this a class key. We'll upload. We'll do that a little bit later, right? We'll define these classes a little bit later. But for now, we'll just call it class key. Then we're gonna say, hey, this is the key, okay? Right, and then we're gonna say, right? We're gonna say td, and then now we're gonna do the value. Let's keep appending to this result variable. Let's say, hey, that's the value, right? And I'm going to add the end of this to the and then tr. So this will print our first level. Alright, so that's the gist of it. And then finally we're gonna echo this out. Okay, so if we did this right, we should go into here. When we choose a file, we choose a sample file, right? and do the upload. The file has been uploaded, right? But we're on line 39. Okay. What's line number 39? So here it says result.value. Oh, well, it's val, not value. Okay. Alright, so let's try that again. Alright. So we can go like this. So what does it say? You have a problem here because what's inside of this is an array, so that's why you're having this issue here, right? So this is really just a warning, but because I have PHP debug, it's showing me this because it's kind of invalid. Now, if you don't have PHP debug installed, this would not show up here, but I do, so that's why I've been getting these notices, right? So what do you do with that, and why is this extended? So I could and so you can fix that by just adjusting your padding. Adjusting the padding in here. So go to your CSS file and go to styles, and then it's in the content here, right? And instead of putting margin there, you go padding bottom, right, and go 10 pixels. So that we can actually see what's at the bottom here, right? So when we reload this, that padding has to be a little bit bigger because you still can't see it, right? So let's go 20 pixels instead, huh? Or even 50. 50 will do, right? So let's do that. That way, even on our overflow, we can actually see it, okay? So just like that. But you can see the output here. It's actually outputting properly. It's just that because we have that we have our debugger installed, this will show up because it's a warning. It's not necessarily an error, but it's saying that we're doing a bad conversion here. That's all it's really saying. So we need to test for that. And how we test for that is we check to make sure that's not an array, right? So if we say you just say, in this case, right, if you get type value equal array, then we can say, we can create another table, right? We can just copy this code here, paste it in here, but we actually want to do an append. We want to add another table down here. Because it's not an array, we want to loop through it again. So you want to say, let's say for each value, right, and just subkey subval. So let's change this to val. That way it's easier to interpret. Right, if val equals array, So just like that. And then we're just gonna loop through this again. And the same concept, right? And then it's gonna echo this out again. Say copy paste, right? But we're gonna replace this as sub key. Sub key. Okay. Again, we're gonna be using the same classes, right? And then I'm gonna say, hey, do this too. Copy and paste this here, subval, right? So we're just gonna do that. We're gonna end it there. Have another test on here. It depends on how many levels it's going to go down, right? We could look at our file and say, hey, it might be another level in there, right? So we can say, what does our file look like? Well, the file is here, so this is our file, right? So we have 1, 2, 3. So one level here, right? And then the second level, the second array is here, okay? And then there's a third array here, okay? And the same thing with this, one array, two arrays, one array, two array. Now we want to make sure that there's no 3 array levels, right? One array, two array. So this seems like there's 2 array levels. So we need to go one more time with this. So we're gonna say each, right? Let's say we're gonna do that again. If get type sub key, or is it subval equal array. Then we're going to iterate one more time, right? So we're going to do this 3 times. So because we're doing that, then we'll have to loop again and do that. And then just like that. But instead of that, we use a subval. I'm gonna say, hey, lower key for lower val, right? So here with a lower val, and then I'm gonna say check this to see if it's an array, right? If it's not an array, then we'll print that out, okay? And then we'll say, hey, result. Now, the right, so this will create another row. This will create the last row. Right, so if this is that, then right, so now because you go, let's say else here, right? So we're just going to print this out if that's not a lower value, okay? And then this is within the loop, right? So because of that, we're going to say again, we need to copy this down here too, right? Else. I'm just gonna print nothing if it's not, because we'll keep on going forever if we do that, right? So we're just gonna do just print this if it's not, okay? Alright, and then here we can just go close tag here. We'll print table. Here. Okay. Outside this loop. And I'm gonna move this back in here, just like that. Alright, so to walk you through the code, so we can say, hey, this is the first level, right? And then this will be the third level. And you keep going until you finish processing the array, just like that. does this do? Alright, so we're done with this. Now what does that do? We go back to the table. And go boom. Continue. So what does this error mean? Well, 48 is this. Oh, we got something equals to array, right? So not equal to array, then we print it out. So this should actually work now without the errors. Alright, so what does it do? Well, as you can see, it's printing out this table here, right? So here we have the first level. It goes here. And then the second level, it'll print this. And the third level, it'll print that. Just like that. Here, all of your data is out there. So what do we do with this data? Well, we can color code it, right? So that's why I built in this these classes. So we can just say, let's add a file right here. Right. New file. .css. We'll go lab4. .css. And here we just copy and paste this code in, right? So, so we just do this. For CSS. Okay, so in the style CSS, we actually want to override the styles that we created, right? So we have a table called table array. Right, so in here we have a table called table array. In this class here, right? I'm gonna put that in there. Table dot table array table, right? Let's set it in with let's say 50%. That way it's a little bit compressed, and then we'll go border. Solid 1 pix and then silver, right? And then I'm gonna pad it. Go 5 pixels, right? So now that's done, and then what? Well, here we want to say, let's style the keys differently. Dot key, right? TD dot key, right? I'm gonna say, hey, those. Let's just make those padding, right? 5 pixels. Let's say background color. Let me change the background color, right? Let's go cadet blue. Let's do it that way. And then let's say font weight. Yeah, let's go bold. Right, and then text. Because this is the key, we wanted to align the text to the right. Alright. Vertical line. Top, right? All the way to the top. Okay. Let's say it's 20 pixels, right? So that this is some spacing. No, more like 100. Okay. Do that value, right? Because we have values in there as well. Okay, so the padding 5 pixels. No background color. Let's set it to light green. And okay. Let's do this again, but we'll change the colors up a little bit. Right, so key 2, value 2. Now here we can say, hey, we can either go a sub key or key 2, right? But we want to do to class key 2, key 3. Key 2, 3. So by adding that in, right, we can say, hey, this lab for CSS, we really just want to change the colors here, right? So we'll say, hey, let's make that red, light pink, right? And then we can say value 2, maybe totally different color. Light. Whatever, right? And then finally, you can copy this for the third key, right? Okay, so let's say light gray, and then it's not really light gray. Light sky blue. Let's say alright, so by doing that, if we refresh this page, we should get something a little bit different. Alright. No, we didn't, because did we include the styles? Huh. There we go. Alright. So as you can see, as we go further down the hole here, problem is it's not printing the last one, right? So if you can see here, if you look at this code, we're actually missing one more layer. We're missing this very last layer, right? So because there's another array within there. So your task, okay, since we're up to this point already, your task will be to enhance this so that so that you can actually print out this very last piece here. Now there's another caveat to it too. We can do this whole exercise recursively as well, right? So your task would be to come up with a recursive solution for this. Now we have a procedural solution right now, right? So actually, let's do this. Let's get this out of this because our code is becoming a little bit convoluted, right? So we have a whole bunch of stuff here, and this could actually be moved out into a functions. A file that we can just include. So we can just say new file functions. Alright, just like that. And then let's just go PHP. One, we can just say, hey, function process data, just like that. Okay, and we want to take in the array, right? So array. Let's call it data. And then we're just going to copy and paste this. This portion and paste it in here. So what does that do? So we're okay. So we're passing in the data here, right? And then we're just gonna process this data, right? So let's say, hey, we just say result equals process data, just like that. Alright, and then we actually want to include that too, so we want to include the file. Alright, so once we do that, okay, so I can't find it. Yeah, why not? Do we call it functions.php? Oh, I misspelled it. That would do it, right? So now we go this. Choose a file, sample again, upload JSON file. So what's going on? Apparently it calls it, right? So we're calling the function here. So result equals process data data. So you'll put a breakpoint here and see what the results are. Right, so we can say, hey, let's debug this. Okay, so when we actually do a submission here, we should go into that file and see what happens. Okay, now we're in our debugger. Let's step into it. It's null, right? So we're not getting anything back, so let's try that again. So let's do that again. Why are we not getting anything back? Alright. Step into it. So data is actually a data stream. Okay. Continue. Alright, so it's actually processing this, right? Oh, because we're not returning the result. See, this is pretty fun, right? Okay, so since we did all of this, we just have to return the results. Results, right? So that's all we gotta do. And now we can go back into our code and say choose file, sample, open, upload, and boom, it works. Right? So wait, so what's going on? This is on top now. Well, we don't want it on top, right? We want it on the bottom. So let's do this. Go back to our index page. We just say, Now this whole checking the file thing, we can also extrapolate it too, right? So we can just create another function in here because again, we want to minimize the amount of code on the front end, just for convention's sake, right? Upload, and then we go file name, and we'll go directory. The rest of the directory. And then in here we can just say, hey, let's grab everything here, right? Let's grab this whole thing here. And we're just gonna return the result, right? And copy everything here and put it in here. Okay, so got this. We just have to replace this with the file name. One sec. Place all. Okay. So every time we're going to dive in here, so this function should be reusable because we're just going in here. We're going to capture the directory already, so we don't need this, right? So go X here, right? So in here, we're going to say, hey, our directory is here. It's right here. And then our file name is going to be the same as, alright, so it's okay. So we're going to dive into this. The directory is provided, so we're going to find the directory. And then we're going to return the target. Right, because that's the pointer to our new file. So we're going to return that. That should do that. And then now, let's say, hey, target equals upload right? So we want the file name, and the file name here is the JSON file, because that's what we're looking for. And then we just want to do a directory, just like that. Just like that. So, because we're going to find that, it should process the files properly. Again, go Alt-Shift-F, and it'll format the document automatically for you. And then we'll save this, and let's see what happens when we go to our thing here. Let's go select, sample, open, upload. Line 43, huh? Oh. It's called that thing, the file name, right? Just like this. Okay. Let's try that again. So instead of calling a file name, you should have called it something else, but that's fine. There you go. So we know it works now, right? So I'm going to choose the file and then do upload. And boom. There you have it. Okay, so after we did this little exercise, right? Now I want you to come up with a basically a recursive solution for this. So let's split this up a little bit. Let's say in this index page, let's go again. We could follow the same convention as our layouts, right? So we could just say, hey, result equals process data. Here we can say, how are we going to split this out? So what we're going to do here is we're going to say, so we're going to take out this echo result. We're going to move this down a little bit. Alright, so we're going to say div here, class equals row, just a standard row, right? And div class equals column. Now this is a bootstrap column, right? And let's create two columns. Just that, and then we'll say 2 rows in there. Same with this. Alright, so just like that, right? So you got 2 rows, 2 rows inside 2 columns. And the method of my madness is that this is going to be like the iterative pattern, and then this would be the recursive pattern. So what that means is that I actually want your recursive output down here. Right? I think it's like this. Can't remember how HTML I'm talking. So basically it's gonna go right here. Alright, just like that. Right, so this will be your recursive output. Alright, so this will be the output we just did, which is and then we're just going to go echo results. If you run this right now, right, you're going to run into an issue. Let's see. So just go index.php, right? So no undefined variable, blah blah blah, result, right? Because it's not encapsulated in here because there's no post, so you never instantiate this, right? What you could do now is you could say down here, before you go into this, you can go and say, hey, only do this if I posted something, right? So if post, let's say is set posts file, and then I'm gonna say, hey, only run this only display this if only display this, yeah. So in the case that this is posted, then display it, right? If is set post, then display it. Let's see if that works. Alright, so it works without errors now. So I'm going to choose a file, open, upload, and boom. So it only displays if there is a post. Just like that. Now the problem is that we still have the echo up here, right? Let's get rid of that. And we refresh the page. Our form is still up here. Right. And this is a placeholder for, and say, I believe we have to go and modify the JavaScript here, because there's a so this site.js, well, this index.js, and say, hey, loading all this stuff, but the dynamic menu is a little bit off, right? So it's a cookie. Cookie code. Cookie color code. I actually want this to be 3, I think. Is that right? Let's see. Okay, so I didn't save this. Alright. Lab 4, okay. I actually want this message to be displayed after this. So just fine. Okay. Alright, so here's what we did. Alright, so we abstracted all of our code into functions. That's kind of what you should do when you should start working with PHP, right? The more you can reuse a function, the better, right? So this is process data. This will pretty much print out your entire. Now, what I want you to do for the lab is actually go to this last level and try to print that out, okay? And then the other aspect to this is solve this in a recursive way, right? And you'll see that your code is a lot cleaner if you do it in a recursive way. And at the same time, you'll get a lot more, what do you call it? Yeah, you'll see that you have less code, and you'll be able to dive into as many levels as you want, right? So that's a key functionality of this algorithm. Okay, so this processing. So you want to do that. So I'll just say this function down here would be process recursive, right? And then with data, right? Okay. The recursive function goes here. And then you want to do that, right? And then you want to call that recursive function from here, right? So here you have result equals process data, and then you'll go result2 equals process recursive, and then data. And right now it will be blank, right? So you'll do that, and then you will echo. Go echo result 2. Right? once you do that, it should print that out. Now we could override this. Let's say style equals border solid 1 pixel color then finally and definitely just like that, and you can just do that to the other one too, right? Like that. Let's try that. Again, you could modify the table here. It should be 100%, right? Just like that. And this should work. Alright, so this is what your table will look like. Alright, so your recursive pattern should be on the right here. Okay. Alright, so that's all you gotta do. I think for the most part that's all you really need to do. And I was gonna add a string thing in here too, but that's not necessary. The idea here is to capture the data from the file and then load it into this function and loop through the function to find, to process the data and generate a table. And you'll see that the recursive data, and like I said, process recursive is supposed to be similar to this. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this lab. All right.